Hello guys, welcome to our lesson. We are talking about the stationary point, okay? So what is stationary point? So let's move into this part. So we have learned before, like stationary point, we can say that is dy over dx or differentiation here equal to 0, right? Okay. So also we have like, if you want to find the maximum point, you can use in the secondary differentiation equals to smaller than 0, right? That represented for a maximum point here. And when the secondary differentiation is bigger than 0, that means a minimum point here, okay? Or you can also using the symbol like y prime here. Okay, so y prime here represented for the differentiation. Okay. So for example, like here, if you want to solve for the y equals to e power of 2x times sine x plus 3 cosine x, it's that it has a certain point, it lies in 0 to x to pi. You can first try to differentiate it, right? So as we learned before, like differentiation, you can just consider e power 2x as u and sine x plus 3 cos x equals to v, right? So we can consider it as u times v. So if y equals to u times v, we can say the differentiation for y is u differentiation times v plus u times v differentiation, right? So then you can say that is for e power of 2x differentiation times the sine x plus 3 cosine x, and then plus e power of 2x times sine x plus 3 cosine x differentiation, right? And then you can try to simplify it. You can find that the value is for maybe for e power of 2x can be considered as 2e power of 2x then times sine x plus 3 cosine x. And second differentiation can be considered e power of 2x times cosine x minus 3 sine x, okay? But then you can put them together. That the value here is for e power of 2x, and here is for minus sine x, and here is for plus 7 cosine x, okay? So we already knew that because it has a differentiation, it has a stationary point, that means e power of 2x doesn't equal to 0. So only negative sine x plus 7 cosine x equals to 0, right? So we can say here, like the tangent x equals to 7. You can just using like x equals to tangent inverse function 7, and then you can calculate the x value here. So also remember that for tangent x, graph of it is like here. So you can first draw negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. That is equation here. And the function here is 2 here. Okay, so it is equal to 7. That means here is a horizontal line and y equals 7. And you can find the exact x point here. So that x is tangent inverse function 7. Okay. Okay, and we can like for second rules also like here to find the stationary point. So we can first using the rules for y differentiation can be considered as like here is u times v, right? So y differentiation is u differentiation v plus uv differentiation, okay? And then you can find the final equation, just put cosine x and sine 2x into here. So u differentiation is cos x, right? So cos x differentiation you can use it is for negative sine x, right? Negative sine x times sine 2x. And for uv differentiation, you can say that is plus u. The u here is for cos x, right? And for v differentiation, we can using the sine 2x differentiation. That is for times 2 times cosine 2x, right? Okay. So if you want to find the starting point, is with 0, right? You're finding the x value here. So you can just try to simplify a little bit. So sine 2x can be considered as 2 times sine x cosine x, right? So that this value is for negative 2 sine x squared times cosine x, okay? And for cosine x times 2 cosine 2x, you can just set here is for cosine x times 2 times cosine x squared minus sine x squared, right? So here's also for 2. So that we can just set is for negative 2 sine x squared times cosine x, and here plus 3 cosine x cubed minus 2 sine x squared cosine x, right? Equal to 0. So we can say that is 3 cosine x cubed minus 4 times sine x squared times cosine x equals to 0, right? So then we can just try to make a factorization here. You can first extract the cosine x from the original equation. That will become into cosine x times 3 cosine x squared minus, here is for 4 sine x squared equals to 0, right? Okay. So also you can just read them down in, maybe we can turn it into sine x squared into cosine x squared. So it's for cosine x times here is for 3 cosine x squared. And here we have to minus 4 plus 4 cosine x squared, right? Equals to 0. Then you can say that cosine x has 3 solutions. So first is for cosine x is equals to 0, right? So that means the 0 times the second equation equals to 0. And secondly, we can say that cosine x equals to positive negative square root 4/7, right? 4/7. So then you can draw the graph because here is from 0 to pi/4. You get that here using a blue graph to represent it for this. So here it is for this. This is for cosine x, right? So 0 to pi/4 is from this point to this point, okay? And then you can put the 3 value here to examine whether it is in this domain or not, okay? That is using this point. Okay, and here we also have a classification. We said like the differentiation or secondary differentiation is bigger than 0, that means a minimum point, and secondary differentiation is smaller than 0, that means a maximum point, right? So we also have some 2 exercises here. So left for you to solve those, okay? So in the next lesson, we're go with you together and trying to solve the 2 problems together, okay? That's it for this our lesson. So see you next time. Bye.